All right, this this should be much better, by the way. So, all right. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. All right. Now that we got that fixed, thank God I wasn't streaming too long before you got in here. So the last thing I would want is for the volume to be off, and I hate it when my freaking Streamlabs does that sometimes. I just gotta remember. I just gotta remind myself to double check it. Just because I turn it on for the first time of the day doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna work flawlessly the way it should. All right. So there's a chance that Microsoft is might acquire Sega. They're really close with Microsoft, and I just can't help but think about some of the most, some of the coolest franchises that are under that Sega umbrella, and it's gonna look really good for everybody. Like it's gonna look good for like Microsoft. I mean, on Game Pass, it's gonna be amazing. Obviously, they want to put everything on Game Pass, and there's gonna be different tiers of Game Pass too. So, oh man, just think about that. And we got a little bit of a kind of like an update on the release date of XDefiant, and thankfully, so far I've been pretty spot on. It's going to be before September because the way this became apparent was that that in early September there's going to be some sort of event to where people are going to be playing it. So yeah, 3 publishers within the last few years. But the thing is, we don't know when or if a Sega acquisition is going to happen. But they're close with Microsoft though, so we're going to see what happens. But that's huge. I mean, they purchased. I mean, they already have their own stuff, and then they've you know. But you're talking about Activision Blizzard, and then Sony doesn't have to. Sony doesn't have to, and at the same time, the thing is, like Microsoft was interested in getting Sega. Like it's been revealed recently that Microsoft was interested in getting Sega, and this was before the Activision Blizzard thing became a thing. But they were interested in Sega, but Sega just wasn't ready to talk about that sort of thing just yet at the time. So, um, so yeah, there's that. I think I think in terms of what Microsoft does in the very near future, I think it's going to be absolutely huge. So that's what I think. And like, what is one major franchise that comes to mind when you think of Sega? Tell me, Sarah. When you think of Sega, what comes to mind? Like, I know we're thinking the same thing. Wham bam, there it is, right there. Sonic. The first thing that comes to mind is Sonic. Like, can you imagine all the OG Sonic games as well as the newer ones or whatnot from like all the generations of games? Can you imagine all of those on Game Pass? That's a lot of Sonic games. Like you're talking Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Sega CD, Sonic and Knuckles. Um, Sean Wardford says, "I want Knives the next Defiant." I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't. I mean, excuse me, I'd be surprised if there wasn't because, well, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna pull a these knives only or an only use me blade and basically just do everything without firing a single bullet, which is quite crazy when you come to think about it. Like I remember, do you guys in COD World War II? There was one person that I think it was these knives only that did it, maybe that basically made it to max prestige without firing a single bullet and just using the knives and uh, melee knife or whatever. And the studio, Sledgehammer Games, contacted him and they gave him a really special reward for it. Like they gave him like this plaque they could put on his wall and shit. It was really cool. Um, I saw it in the video, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty damn ballsy. That's pretty damn ballsy. I mean, can you imagine playing a game like XDefiant and just using nothing but knives? Um, it does take a lot of patience. You're absolutely right. I personally couldn't do it. I would no. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of. I wonder what his stats were as well. Like seriously, like I wonder what that man's stats were, because like if he had positive stats, then that just goes to show you that that man's got some skill. Have you seen the new elusive target for Hitman 3? No, I have not. Um, yeah, these knives only. Okay, that was KTO. Yeah, that guy's incredible. Like that guy's incredible, man. It's it's just insane how some of these guys are able to do that. Um, but yeah, X Defiant is rumored to be coming out at sometime in August, because there's going to be an event taking place in early September, and people are going to be playing it at the event for kind of like a promotional thing, and the game has to be out in order for them to play it. So, um, so yeah, just like we suspect, it's going to be sometime in August. Fingers crossed. Sometime in August, and it is going to be, and it is amazing. Maybe late August. We'll see. It could come sooner. It has to be, what's it called? Um, they're going through a cert process right now in order to get certified, and then after that, it's all pretty much set and done. So I personally think, I mean, since they've already been going through it over the last week or so, I think it may take one more week, if not two more, at the most. So, and again, it's not a game that you're going to go out there and get a hard copy of or anything like that. Not that it makes a difference nowadays anyway. So it's just going to be like you're just going to download it, you're going to play it, and then that's it. So yeah, that's that's what I'm thinking, and I'm very happy about this. I personally think it's a really good thing for the game. I think it's a really good thing for not just the game, but like for everybody. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. I think a lot of people are going to play the living shit out of it. So DJ Vegas will be the new elusive target for Hitman 3. Okay. I have not played a Hitman game in a very long time. I played just a little bit of it. But I know of it, and I know that it's very popular, especially in Europe. You guys have no idea how popular Hitman is in Europe in terms of the percentage of people that play it. Like in Europe, a higher percentage of people that play Hitman are actually, like, the percentage of people that play Hitman in Europe are much higher than those that don't. That's just a fact. Hitman is a big thing in Europe. Um, it better not be on the week of August 15th, because I'm going to be out of town. Me and my girlfriend are going to Vegas to celebrate my girlfriend's sister's birthday. Well, I mean, we don't know. I'm sorry if it's out by then, but all I can say is that you're going to have something to look forward to, at least when you get back home. Um, and since you're going out to celebrate the birthday and all, whatever you do, don't try to play it while you're out of town, because I think your girlfriend might be upset with you if you do that, because you're going out of town in order to kind of get away from stuff. So I'm not talking anything that has to do with gaming. Let's see. Yeah, yeah,
How many hits does that thing take to kill? Holy
yeah. I
shit.
don't think your sister would want that. Oh, you're not taking anything that has to do with gaming. Oh, there you go. See, that's a true way to get away, to be honest. How convenient the elusive target is, DJ Vegas, when you're going to Vegas. Elusive targets are very frustrating. I don't know what well, no, I can understand what elusive targets means. Again, I haven't played a Hitman game in a long ass time, but they're on Game Pass though. So that's another thing that Game Pass has that's absolutely incredible. It's got like some of these franchises that are so meaningful to so many people. And like I said, in Europe, you guys would be surprised the percentage of players that play Hitman. Like in Europe, Hitman is absolutely huge. Um, and the cool thing about Hitman is that it really, like, it's really clever how the devs like kind of think of ways to get you to do stuff, and the series has only gotten better over time, which is something you can't say about every single series besides graphics and shit. Other than graphics, it's really a challenge to make a game truly better, especially if it was already good as it is. because you don't just want to do the same thing over and over again, but yet just have heightened graphics. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of respect for the Hitman franchise. I really do. And like I said, in Europe, it's absolutely huge. I think it's a big deal for the series to continue on because Agent 47 is a very he's like one of the best character. He's one of the most interesting characters ever made for a video game series. So, and obviously we've seen a few movies from all this. There's been a couple Hitman movies. The second one wasn't so good. The first one was meh, but again, at the same time, it's very hard to make. Well, not very hard, but we haven't seen too many good video game movies. So they have an elusive target arcade when they take all the previous elusive targets from his previous games and set it up into an escalation contract with no restarts. And you fail, you have to wait 24 hours. Damn, that's hardcore as hell. I bet you like the most serious Hitman fans are the ones that take that shit on. That's like the equivalent. That's almost like the equivalent of Ultra Nightmare and Doom, to where if you die once, it's over, which is insane. And I still can't believe that there are people out there that have actually done that. Has anybody here ever tried playing Doom Eternal on Ultra Nightmare? I mean, to win something like that is absolutely insane. Um, I mean, to where you can't even like die once. That's crazy. You know, it's basically the hardest difficulty level, but you can't die once. You die once, you start over. It's over. It could be 12 hours, but all you have to do is X out of the game and it continue, and you can continue where you were left off. Yeah, but you don't want to do that. You want to do it for real. You don't want to do that.
Oh wow.
You know, you wouldn't be doing it realistically if you did that. You wouldn't be doing it like the way it was meant to be done. You know, you don't want to cheat your way. You don't want to cheat yourself. So with that being said, guys, what is the hardest game you've ever played? Sarah, what's the hardest game you've ever played? Eric, what's the hardest game you've ever played? Sean, what is the hardest game you've ever played? I want to know right now, what is the most difficult game you've ever attempted? I've seen so many people do it. It's easy to do IRS like.
Barely saw him.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I love that games could be rather difficult. I think games that are difficult are actually, Hitman Freelancer mode is the hardest. Sarah says Bloodborne. I've heard that one before. I've heard that one before. Now the question is, have you beat it? Sarah, did you beat Bloodborne? Nope. Okay. Did you get far though? And how much time have you put into it? That's the question. So the freelancer, there is no beating it. Ah, well, we're talking about a regular game here that you can beat.
Okay.
You start the next contract campaign. Well, for regular games, I just want to know, like, what's the hardest? Like, for ones that have an end game at least. I beat the first couple of bosses. It took forever, probably like 20 to 30 hours. Damn. But was it satisfying or fun to do? Like, did you literally enjoy it? Or was it just one of those experiences to where it was such a pain in the butt that you just had to do it again? Or that you just kept doing it until you got it done?
Yeah, I should have known. I should have known that he was gonna go there again.
I just realized it wasn't for me. Wow. So it took 20 to 30 hours to realize that it wasn't for you, huh? Because everybody's basically says that Bloodborne is like probably the best Souls game. Now, the definition of best Souls game is dependent on you.
What is going on? What is going on? And then it's like I just had to turn
Well,
my
it
volume
depends on the
down
player
just a little
actually.
bit. Just the volume on
So,
the headset just a little bit.
yeah, the fact that Sega might be acquired by Microsoft is huge. Huge.
I'm good, bro.
Okay, so I have another question. So let's see. Let's see. First, I got to read this. If the difficulty was a little lower and skill level lower, I'd probably try to get back to it. You select the next contract. There are multiple contracts. When you get to the slowdown, you have to figure out which one is target, and there are all signs, and there are assassins. Ah, that's interesting.
I don't know how people play without a headset and all that. Well, it depends on the game. I could play Black Ops 2, no problem without a headset. But this game here, you need a headset to play. It's a very acoustic game.
Yeah, but
Like
some games, like
you need a headset.
I'm really just amazed of how some games could be so sophisticatingly difficult, but at the same time, they're made to be beaten. If you think about it, video games are actually made to be beaten. They're supposed to be. No matter how hard they are, they're supposed to be beaten at the end of the day. They follow you, and if you mess up, you have a limited time to eliminate the target before they escape. Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like they've definitely gone above and beyond with the entire Hitman series.
The only thing I wish, the only thing that's really like, I just wish
The
the
combat is so
difficulty was
punishing.
like what I
Like
say when I say
is
like I wish you could see people
see
easier.
that's the thing though. I think things that punish players, some players are all about it, and some players hate it.
That's unlocked.
That's what I think the issue is. That's what I think the issue is, to where people out there hate it and some other people love it. Remnant 2 is really tough, but it's a blast. Okay. Okay. So maybe it's trying to find that combination, that right, the correct combination in terms of how you properly do that. You can't really fight the NPC. It's not like Hitman Absolution. Man, Sean is
Okay.
really huge into Hitman. Oh, you know what? You know what game they need to bring back? And I was just reading
Fuck me.
like during the stream where my mic was messed up, or where I wasn't heard. You know what other game? You know what other game franchise I would love to see brought back? That's Sega. And I know Sarah, you're gonna recognize this, but maybe my everybody, maybe some other people in the chat might recognize too. But is Echo the Dolphin? Like imagine Echo the Dolphin, but with today's stuff, like today's capabilities. For the Assassin's Challenge, it takes a lot of patience, and a lot of waiting around. Oh, I bet. For some people, that's awesome. For other people, it's not. One of the reasons why I don't like battle royales is because it's just not much action going on all the time consistently. Yeah, Splinter Cell. You know, Splinter Cell is coming eventually. There's just no way that it's not. At some point, Ubisoft is going to make a new Splinter Cell game. There's just no way it's not. And it's in a perfect position to get a really good revival. Like Splinter Cell is in a really good position, in my opinion. So I think what's it called? Echo the Dolphin is going to be the shit if they were to bring it back. And you know, Microsoft is all about bringing back some old franchises, especially if they haven't been used in a while. So I never, and the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I never played Echo the Dolphin. And there would be, I think there would be so many different iterations of Echo that would be created. So it's like you can do a bunch of shit with today's technology with Echo the Dolphin. Plus, who doesn't like a really good underwater explorer slash action adventure game
No.
where you play as a dolphin?
Fuck.
Yeah, Rainbow Six is basically like that. Rainbow Six is there's a lot of search and destroy elements in Rainbow Six Siege, and that's partially why people love it. And search and destroy is actually a very popular game mode in Call of Duty. Believe it or not, people love search. They love search. But I think ultimately what's going to happen is, um, if Microsoft does acquire Sega, you're going to see a lot of OG games come out on Game Pass,
No, I'm dead. No, I'm not.
like OG stuff
Wow, really? Okay.
with the laser eye vision to try to get kills. Let's. Well, to be frank, I don't. Thankfully, I don't care about battle royale and all that stuff. So I haven't played the Call of Duty franchise, and like the I haven't played the new Call of Duty games in a long time. I haven't even played. I didn't purchase Modern Warfare 2. Vanguard was the last one I played, and I only played it for like a month at best, and then that was it. So the OG Call of Duty is where it's at. I don't particularly like where they're what they're doing with all that. Warzone got stale after about a year. The question is, why did it get stale though? Like, did it get stale because of the gameplay, or did it get stale because like what was it about Warzone that just got stale? Because at first, I mean, people were like everybody was playing Warzone,
Fuck.
but then later on, it's like what made it get stale? Couldn't even use the Scar, which was a really good gun. I don't know about that. I don't know any. I don't know anything about that stuff. Like I don't understand why you couldn't use a gun.
Really? Fine.
You should be able to use guns in Warzone. That's the way I see it. I don't see why somebody can't use a certain weapon in Warzone. It's a good gun. You know, the Scar in pretty much every Call of Duty has actually been pretty good when you think about it. You know, in Black Ops 4, you had the Rampart, which was good. You got stale because Fortnite does Battle Royale better. Yeah, the only thing I would, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, but if Fortnite made an FPS mode, I wonder how that's going to play. Like, I wonder how many people would be into that because it's a third person shooter. I wonder how it would play if it actually went first person. Like, I'm legitimately curious about that. So, it was ruled out because of the 2030 round mag. Really? That's doesn't make sense. I mean, in Warzone, you gotta. Well, first of all, don't you have to like kind of run around and find stuff for one? And number two, it's like, since when do you rule out randomness in Warzone?
It's like,
That's part of the fun, right? Of Battle Royale is the fact that you could find anything at any time.
is that weird?
Isn't that part of the fun factor of Battle Royale? You know, are they like, or is it simply because of the fact that they're making it competitive now? Are they actually trying to make competitive Battle Royale? More people use the MP5, of course. I mean,
Like, is
if
that
MP5 is the best weapon in the game, of course people are going to use it, especially with the algorithm and things like that. Don't even get me started. You know, um, that's my take on that. I But seriously though, if Fortnite made a first person shooter mode, I wonder if how many people would play it. I wonder how many people would try it out at least. I think it could potentially be a hit. I think a lot of people might play it because there's still like a couple of people that don't play Fortnite because it's a third person shooter. So if you were to make it first person all of a
I
sudden,
mean, seriously.
or at least give the option for a first person mode, I think people might play it. I'm not even kidding. Or even giving the people the option to be able to switch. I wonder how that works. Like I'm kind of wondering why,
Oh, and by the
like
way, the only thing
some shooters, you know.
yeah,
Well, the thing is with a battle royale, I think with the battle royale, I think you can succeed both ways. Like whenever you're looting, you can be in third person, and then whenever you're shooting people, you can be in first person, or you can do like a vice versa. So, and do you guys? I mean, let's see. I quit playing once they said you can't use the Cold War Modern Warfare 2019 Vanguard guns in the new map, wooden, which is why they stopped playing. Was never good to begin with. Well, far as battle royale is concerned, I unfortunately I'm not interested in the battle royale genre to even have an opinion about it. But I
I just
do
like it when the creator
believe
actually reads and interacts
that a lot of people really love. Well, one of the reasons why they love or loved the battle royale genre was because it was really, when you think about it, the battle royale genre is like a really good example of a casual game. And right now, what they're doing is they're turning it into, like, I think they're trying to go competitive with it, and that doesn't really, it doesn't really mix very well with battle royales, in my opinion, um, because of how they work. It's really difficult to make a battle royale legitimately competitive, and it was never meant to be in the first place. Kind of like how COD, because COD was actually never really meant to be competitive in the first place, um, but afterwards though things got better. After they banned a few things in competitive Call of Duty, then it made sense. But you guys get the point, right? So some might argue that Call of Duty isn't competitive at all, or not as competitive as you think. So XDefiant all the way. Yep. We're all anticipating it. We're all anticipating it. All that game really needs is, like, my personal wish list is a free for all. Like, if there's anything that I would want to come true for that game, is a free for all. That's all I want. Give me free for all. Give me a one every man for himself type of game mode, and I'm all about it. Preferably non-objective, but other than to kill. But other than that, it's like I try it out, but no. So what are your predictions? Do you guys think that it's going to come out like in the middle of August or late August? Warface would be excellent if they didn't fix the servers. You know, I as far as the graphics go, I don't really care all that much, but I want the gameplay of Warface to be better. Like, it just feels like too clunky, if that makes sense, and the servers could use a little bit of a fix, and plus it's like pay to win as well. That's the only thing is as well, is that it's very pay to win like. So
Yeah, people that do that are just immature.
yeah, rubber banding does suck. It's something that could definitely ruin a game. You're gonna make the game won't last nearly as long if rubber banding is ridiculous. I will say that right now, and I'll confirm that right now. If rubber banding is ridiculous in any video game, I don't care how good that video game is. If it's ridiculous, then it's gonna ruin the entire experience, especially if it's a competitive environment. I mean, look at what's going on with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite right now is actually continuously getting better, but there's still a desync issue, and it is a problem. Have you seen that they are mastering Red Dead Redemption 1? Yes, I have. Sarah still says September 1st. I have seen that they are remastering Red Dead Redemption 1. And even though I didn't play the second one, I did play, I would say, maybe about 10 hours, give or take, of the first one. And I actually liked it. I just never kept playing it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I actually liked it quite a bit. I know that it was a very deep game. Red Dead Redemption 1 is incredible. It's an incredible accomplishment. I mean, you're basically going out there in the Western world just like that, and in the form of a Grand Theft Auto game, but except it's in the West, the old West. So, um, yeah, GTA 6 isn't coming out anytime soon, and there's rumors going around that it might be watered down. So it might take away a lot of the stuff that made Grand Theft Auto what it was in the first place. Oh, by the way, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, who was your guys' favorite character in Grand Theft Auto 5? Who's your favorite character in Grand Theft Auto 5? Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet because we haven't obviously seen the game yet, but um yeah, Rockstar said that they're going to dial down, or just on the whole, ridiculousness. Um oh, you only played GTA Online, Sarah? Okay.
That is my Achilles. Well, my biggest Achilles heel with this.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people still play GTA Online to this day. What is it? Can you guys humor me about what makes GTA Online so good and repetitive, and that keeps players coming back? Is it because they've become like other multiplayer type of games, except they've done it with GTA? Like, is there an incentive to keep playing? Like, always a goal to go after, or are you just trying to get richer, or what is it exactly? Or is it like World of Warcraft, to where it's like a living, breathing world, and you're just constantly like living it? I don't. Again, I don't know. So this is why I'm asking. I because I've got a lot of respect for games like Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. The businesses and missions. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it seems like everybody that's playing Grand Theft Auto nowadays is playing Grand Theft Auto Online. So I personally don't think it's replayable after you do all the online missions. But don't they keep making new missions or no?
All right, let's see what's next. Yes, bootleg. Yes, I love bootleg.
Like, don't they keep doing new missions?
The 2.23. I like it. I like a challenge. I like challenges.
Like that's the beauty of online, right? Don't they give you like new contracts and stuff to go after and new missions? Oh, okay. If you haven't been on in years, I'm pretty damn sure that they've done some stuff to it. There's just no way. There's like a lot of people that still play GTA Online to this day. Let's do. I'm gonna do a quick Google search and see
Bar.
how many players on GTA Online, GTA 5 Online. Let's see what we have here. The online multiplayer mode in the game allows the 30 players to engage in various cooperative game modes, which are on track with statistics. More blah blah blah. How many active GTA Online players are there? Okay, how many people are playing GTA Online in 2023? Okay, this is the Steam chart. So, as of July 28th of 2023, the peak player count of GTA 5 Online on Steam was 171,724. That's from Steam alone. That's from PC alone. Compared to the previous day, which had a 1% increase in the past 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that is just Steam alone. On the, like, PC is the, like, there's, PC is the smallest count. And that's 171,724 people on GTA 5 Online. So it makes you wonder how many people are playing that on console, which is a lot. So it's been probably 3 years at the minimum since I played it. They have a new set of missions that involve Merryweather. Payday 3 beta is August 2nd. Yeah, for a lot of people that are into Payday, that's going to be huge. That's going to be absolutely huge. There's games like that make a lot of like players love that shit. Players are all about it. So, no, I don't play those types of games. There's a lot of games that I haven't played that I'm just not into playing. Like if I'm gonna play a shooter, like when you look at this gameplay in the background right here, like the action has to be like there has to be a lot of action consistently. If there's not, then I'm just not engaged. Again, that's why I don't play battle royales.
Go around this way.
So
What? Man, are you
Need
serious?
for Speed was really good. I remember Need for Speed Underground. I played the shit out of that game. That was a good game. Oh, I'm sorry, not Underground. Need for Speed Most Wanted back in the day, the OG one. That came out in I think 2007, either 2005 or 2007, something like that. Um, GTA is fun with friends, but boring alone, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, some games are made to be. Some games are made to be played with friends. Now the question I have is like in terms of like Sarah, do you no, I'm not into third person shooters, unfortunately, Sarah. Unfortunately. Um, Now, in terms of games like Call of Duty XDefiant, do you guys prefer playing with friends or do you prefer playing solo? Because it's really like some people like both, but some people still prefer one over the other. Really interesting how people play their single player game or their multiplayer games. Most Wanted is what got me into Avenged Sevenfold and Disturbed Blinded in Chains and Decadence by Disturbed and Friends solo. It doesn't matter. Haha. Yeah. Yeah, that game had a really good soundtrack. If they remaster that game, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would play it. But the game looked really good though. I mean, Need for Speed Most Wanted looked really good, even for back in its day. Like it looked really good, and there was a lot to do in the game and all that stuff. So, if I like both, I like COD because I can play solo, but also with friends. Only issues, choose one.
Only a sniper can do that.
Vibly. I don't know what you mean by Vibly, but okay. Oh, vinyl. Okay. Well, don't forget, back in the day, those games were different. You know, there were a lot of limitations. Even though the Xbox 360 era was a hell of an era, it really was. Even though it was a hell of an era, you still had, you still had the fact that
God, man,
ultimately,
fucking snipers.
um, I mean, ultimately it was really, really good, but it was still ahead of its time for the time. But again, it was still a long time ago. So, and um, I would love to see more of that. Like I want to see I don't know if it's me being at the age that I am, but
No aim
I
assist.
am very much getting like I want more remasters to come out. And they will eventually. Like, okay, tell me 2 or 3 games that you guys want to see remastered. Like 2 or 3 games that come to mind. I don't care what system it's on. I don't care who owns the franchise. I don't care. 2 to 3 games that you guys want to see remastered. I don't care what game it is. Tell me what games you want to see remastered. Like that are like on the top of your wish list. Mercenaries World in Flames, Blast from the Past, man. Okay. That's one.
What's next?
By saying Mercenaries, you kind of reminded me of a game that I know somebody would want remastered big time.
All right, so you guys know that October 18th is a very important date, right?
Like big time.
Okay, so type one in the chat if you would like Microsoft to revoke the cease and desist that they gave to SM Squared. Well, that Activision, old Activision gave to SM Squared.
Like I know people would want like there's the last time I asked that question, somebody in the chat said Max Payne.
Um,
Like their answer immediately, well not immediately, but
well,
soon enough was
the
Max
date of
Payne.
the acquisition is October 18th.
So OG COD Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer exactly how it was, except fix a couple of the perks.
Requesting that every
Are you
fan
talking
of the
about One
arcade
Man Army
shooter,
Noob Tubes,
Call of
Sarah?
Duty, Defiant, you name it, right? Every fan of the arcade shooter at the same day tweet at Microsoft as well as like create content requesting that they revoke the cease and desist.
Let's see. Sean says they should do a Call of Duty game that's almost like COD Mobile, no campaign, just adding in weapons. Who plays campaign anymore? Console. Yes. Okay. Yeah. One Man Army Noob Tubes was definitely a problem.
Okay, that guy should have been dead.
One Man Army Noob Tubes 100% was a problem. And the thing is, if you think about it, Modern Warfare 3 was almost like a patched up Modern Warfare 2, but at the same time different.
Hi, Laura.
Defund skill based matchmaking. Yeah. Remember, it's not actually called skill based matchmaking. Skill based matchmaking is what you have in ranked. The stuff you have in pubs is engagement optimization matchmaking or engagement oriented matchmaking, where it's like literally, you know, I mean,
Oh shit.
literally
See,
rigged.
that's the thing. I can't see people in this
You
game.
know, the shortest way to describe it is, forced 1-to-1 win ratio. 1-to-1 win ratio, 1-to-1 kill death ratio. Maps weren't as good in Modern Warfare 3. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I haven't touched Modern Warfare 2 since all those years ago when I first touched it.
Okay, where the hell did my fucking
Yeah, that's exactly what engagement optimization matchmaking is. It's all rigged. All the Call of Duties from 2019 to this day are rigged. So everything Modern Warfare 2019 and beyond is rigged. So that's what they have to get rid of. They have to get rid of engagement optimization matchmaking, which is the only reason why. Like again, if Treyarch makes the best Call of Duty we've ever seen in 2024, but if it's got engagement optimization matchmaking in it, I don't care how good it is. It's not. It's going to ruin the fun. It's going to ruin the experience. It's kind of like I was going to use an analogy of something that was going to be very R-rated, so to speak. For the sake of keeping it nice and clean in here, um, I'm gonna say it's kind of like putting your favorite food in front of you, but you're only allowed one bite. Let's put it that way. Like you're only allowed one bite. Simple as that. Um, I hate the sniping in those games. So slow and clunky. I mean, it's I'm actually surprised that sniping these days is slow and clunky because I think one of the things that they want to do is appease the sniping community. It's one of the reasons why quick scoping exists. You know, people took advantage of a mechanic that was built into the game, and eventually it became something that they always kept in there. It's almost like a glitch, so to speak. So I personally, I mean, obviously, I'm not a sniper and stuff, but I understand that things like quick scoping, as ridiculous as it is part of Call of Duty culture. So it's something that's gotta stay in with the community. It's got to stay in within the games. Unfortunately, um, doesn't necessarily mean you have to make it ridiculous, but you guys get the deal. Not even quick scoping on Modern Warfare 2019, Vanguard, Cold War, Modern Warfare 2. I don't know. I actually have to go and look stuff up. I actually have to go and look at things, but by the time you ADS, you're already dead. Well, if it makes you feel any better, by the time regular guns ADS, they're already dead too. Because if you are even gonna rush in that game, um, you can't ADS fast with even regular guns because if you use a quick draw attachment, guess what? You're gonna pay in some other way, like some other way, big time. Like you're not gonna be able to get from sprint to fire fast at all. It's gonna be slowed down because of the pros and cons system. I know that they're having a pros and cons system for XDefiant, but it doesn't seem to be nearly as punishing to the rusher. So we'll see. I mean, I prefer the old way. I prefer like all the guns are the same at the start, and then attachments make your gun better. That's what I think it should be. Honestly, like if you get an attachment, I mean, the only attachment actually that had pros and cons, the only attachment that actually had cons to it back in the OG Call of Duty days was the one that you're seeing in the background here, which is the suppressor or the silencer, and which basically meant depending on the call. I mean, with every single Call of Duty, if you had a suppressor on your gun would be a little bit weaker in terms of distance, right? But then at the same time, in other Call of Duties, like let's say Black Ops 1, you would get like an increase of recoil because you're also using the suppressor. But the pros are that you're obviously staying off the minimap, and the muzzle flash is something that makes, since the muzzle flash is pretty much non-existent, it makes aiming a lot easier. So that's the only attachment that had pros and cons in previous Call of Duty games. But now every attachment has pros and cons, which sucks. It really
So
sucks.
this guy got pissed and he kicked me out of the lobby. Is that what happened right there?
I don't
Is
I
that
I don't know about you guys, but in obviously in theory, pros and cons system sounds good, but in actual execution, it's not. Let's be real here.
well, he's making a
I'm
comeback
not a
over his
big
head. I mean,
fan
maybe
of
it's
it,
someone in a VPN, dude.
but with X Defiant, who knows? It
Someone in a VPN.
could be way better. It could be done properly. It could be way better. But in due time, we'll see.
So even though
I
they
mean,
keep
as of right now, so far, with what I've played
whatever is
in X Defiant is, um, and don't worry, guys, the gameplay in the background is going to resume. There you go. Um,
I guess he couldn't. That
um,
the 2.2
I
society couldn't stand the
I
gameplay
don't.
enough
Let me
to
ask you guys this.
make
Now
it
that I've got
play
a decent amount of you in here, if you're willing to answer,
oh man.
do you guys prefer the old system to where attachments just make your weapon better,
Hi,
or do you
Mando.
guys like the pros and cons system? Like, I'm legitimately curious.
Ooh, I remember that name, Mando Shepard, right there.
Like, can you imagine like if all the attachments just made your weapons better and you were only limited to a certain number of attachments? I mean, can you just imagine the different types of combinations of weapons that you could use, or different kinds of combinations of attachments you can use per weapon?
Now that everything is starting to come back, my gameplays will be a little bit
Like,
more entertaining.
I like it better when sleight of hand was a weapon attachment, not a passive perk. Yeah, you mean like fast mags? Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
But like here's a question that I have for you guys, because you guys are also full of knowledge. So, like, Fortnite has been really successful for a long time. CS:GO has been around for like ever. So what do you guys think that they did that is keeping it that's keeping these games relevant?
Catch that.
So old system, the pros and cons is really annoying. Yeah, you have to try to find out like the combinations of which combination you want and how it works, blah blah blah. It's a passive in Modern Warfare 2 sucks. Yeah, I mean, in Modern Warfare 2, I don't know what they were thinking just by doing that. I mean, I wasn't going to get the game anyway, but then once I saw what they were doing, I was like, dude, what the heck are these guys doing? It's like it's almost as if you could tell. It's like these guys just don't care. I don't know. I have this theory to maybe where maybe the devs themselves are actually trying to make the game worse on purpose. So that way, like, so that way Activision doesn't make as much of a profit from it because they hate who they work for. But I don't think that's the case. That's just me being, reading a little too much into it. You don't even lose your skins in
Oh, I
progress
totally forgot.
ever lose your skins in progress in Fortnite. Ooh, really? Okay. I did not know that. So that's good. Yeah. You purchased it, so you might as well keep it.
Nope.
So that's cool. You don't lose your skins or your progress. That's good. I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad they're doing that. So you never lose your skins, you never lose your progress.
Second place has
I
5.
hope XDefiant has perks aside from the factions. It wasn't in the closed or open beta, and one of the attachments is kind of like a perk that you can choose. So if you're not going to use as many, like if you're not going to use certain attachments for your weapon,
Really think I'm
I
winning
think
too?
perks. I think one of the attachments that you can apply to your weapon kind of works like a perk, so to speak.
Or one of the few?
And if you think about it, the factions are perks. They're just in groups. So one of them is stealthy, another one is faster healing, another one is, that's what the factions are perks actually when you think about it, Sean. Every year there is a new COD and you lose everything. Yup. I agree with the fact that I think Call of Duty should just be one game like Fortnite, and they should just update it every year. So nothing you've earned carries over. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, especially the earned. Like, because there's people out there that do camo challenges and shit like that. I mean, seriously. That's that's something. So make sleight of hand a perk in XDefiant. I think sleight of hand is a perk in XDefiant.
Keys up in here.
It's something. It's again. It's in one of the categories for one of the for your weapons.
Now you know I'm there, dude.
But you know what is cool though? One thing I am willing to say is that I am willing to experiment with multiple attachments per gun, because the thing is, like, once you figure out how the attachments work, um
What the hell? How
I
did that one miss
think
over me?
once you do that, then you'll figure out what works best for you. But it just happens to be a little bit of a pain in the ass figuring out what works. But the good news is they have this firing range, obviously, that you guys know about. They have the firing range and everything now, so you can actually see what the weapon feels like for you. So, hi, Austin, how are you? I almost said hi, Ola. Do you actually shoot guns in real life? I do not.
Oh, I was an assassin.
I do not. And I don't even know if I've ever been to a firing range. Maybe once, but it doesn't count. What are we talking about? Well, as always, whenever the stream entirely revolves around conversation, it's basically what's it called? It's always it always goes from topic to topic. Like at first we were talking about Microsoft buying Sega, and then we go back and forth between Call of Duty XDefiant, Battle Royales, and pros and cons and all that shit. So remastered games, which games you want to see remastered, all that kind of stuff. It's basically like as if we were all hanging out at a table, right? With drinks and snacks and just talking video games. Like if this was a podcast and if every single one of you guys was on the podcast with cameras and shit like that, we would be talking about all sorts of shit like we are right now. So, what do you think is the most overrated? Ooh, overrated. Ooh, shit. Ooh, now you got me thinking. Well, overrated. Um, honestly, shit. Damn it. You got to give me a category. If you're gonna make me answer something like that, you got to make it at least easier to think about. So um, please tell me, give me a category. Sarah says The Last of Us 2. And Sarah, to my knowledge, has played the living crap out of Last of Us 1, so for her to say Last of Us 2 is a big deal. you know for a fact that Last of Us 2, is so I mean, remember, it's all about games that are relative to the time because some games, some old games, if you play them now, they certainly have not aged well, right? And then some other games have aged well. So I don't know. Like if you were to play some old games now, you'd be like, how in the world were people ever interested in this shit? But back then, we didn't have anything else. Shooting wise, most overrated game. Oh my gosh. Hmm. New or old? New or old, or does it not matter? GTA is overrated. You know what, Austin? Let me tell you something, and half of you in here are gonna chew me up for this, but I've actually never put like very briefly played a GTA game. I just couldn't stick with it enough. I agree, GTA is a bit overrated. I think it's just the amount of freedom that people like. I think it's the amount of freedom that people like that makes GTA very how do I put this? Very appealing. So I've actually never played GTA for over like an hour or two. I played San Andreas, and then about a couple hours later, I just put it down. And San Andreas is said to be the best GTA game of all time. It doesn't matter. Okay, so um, the most overrated game. Um, I mean, for me personally, I want to say, oh man, I'm gonna get so much shit for this. I want to say, damn it. I want to say the thing is I haven't even seen all of them either. But damn it. Um most under Austin says most underrated game? Titanfall 2. That one is easy. Oh wow, you said Titanfall 2 after I said Titanfall 2 and then I saw it typed in right in there. Wham bam. Yep, Titanfall 2 is yep. You and I were actually thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, Titanfall 2 is the most underrated shooter, hands down. Now, what I would have liked to see was I would have liked the Titan gameplay to be a lot like how Halo works. I would have loved the Titans to feel like Halo, but for obvious reasons, they didn't do that. But yeah, Titanfall 2 is the most underrated game. Period. But most overrated game. I don't know. I could say Tarkov. I could also say even Fortnite itself. Um, what is that other shooter that is? It's like I got a visual of it in my head, but I don't know. Um, yeah. Well, somebody sees eye to eye with me at least. But the thing is, like, it was just, see, that's the thing. Like, you see what, you know what, guys? I think we're kind of saying something here without realizing it. And you know what that is? Like, games don't have to be super, super amazing or super innovated or anything, or super fancy and shit like that in order for them to be super duper successful. Because if you think about it, Fortnite is actually quite basic at its core, but it does all those basic things right, and it manages it manages to keep players coming back by doing certain things correctly. I mean, if you think about it, that's exactly what Fortnite does. Ooh, Battle Bit. I need to look up footage of that game because I haven't seen enough of that. Once you played one Halo, you've played them all. Yes and no. Um, because if you're gonna say something like that about Halo, then you can certainly say that the same about COD. Um, but it's the subtle changes that make the difference, you know. Um, like for instance, if you look at this MP7 here that you're seeing in the gameplay, like there's no submachine gun quite like the MP7 in terms of what this gun did. I love the MP7 in this game. Controversial with Battlefield 2042 is kind of good now, and I like the idea a lot. I've heard the same thing. I heard 2042 is good now. I'm actually surprised I never really installed that game. World War III? No, I've not played it. Um,
And I'm on a 3 bar. Wow.
well, you know what? The XDefiant beta was a legit beta, though. Like, if you think about it, XDefiant beta, like so many betas nowadays, and Mark Rubin called people out for this too. Like, certain betas are just used as marketing tools now. Like with Call of Duty, we're gonna get the people that are gonna play Call of Duty are gonna get a beta in October, and then the game's gonna come out in November. Not a beta, it's a demo.
Yep, 1 day at a time, 1 second, 1 inch.
Raw Galley.
She said.
Yeah, the sad reality is that most betas nowadays are not betas; they're demos. And Austin, did you know that Titanfall 3 was actually in development for 10 months before they turned it into Apex Legends?
I like this map. Resistance.
Would you get a Stream Deck or Raw Galley? So tell me what's Raw Galley? I know what a Steam Deck is, but what's Raw Galley? Yeah, I bet that pissed you off, didn't it? I wasn't happy when I heard that news. Because Titanfall is a great game. Like Shroud called Titanfall 2 like one of the best shooters ever made.
I'm the only one on a 3 bar here.
Asus Raw Galley. I don't know. I really don't. If it's anything compared to a Steam Deck, I really don't need it. Not really a necessity for me, especially for the, especially since I don't need it.
I like his weapon though. Is that an ACR? It is.
So,
Really, dude?
what is
Can't see people.
what is your guys most anticipated game coming up before the end of the year? It's a Steam Deck like console. It's ROG Ally. Oh, okay. Well, whichever one is fancier. Whichever one is fancier and can do more. There you go. That's the one that I would get if I needed to.
One of the best in Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, Resistance is a good map. Wait, what? He got a hind?
Payday 3 and XDefiant. Other than XDefiant? Yes. Other than XDefiant, Sarah. I know you got a PS5, so I'm thinking you're probably thinking something like Spider-Man.
Warden.
Yeah, Sean wants Payday 3.
Aim assist on that one.
Yeah, that's it. See, Austin is hyped for Payday 3 as well. A lot of people are really looking forward to Payday 3, so that's cool. I'm really glad to see that a franchise like that is getting a lot of love.
Seriously? Okay, now this is a bunch of bullshit, thank you.
I remember playing Border Crossing Stealth, spending 2 hours completing the heist. Yeah. What about if they made a Destiny 3, would you guys be all about that? A D3? Or do you guys think that Destiny hit its missed its mark? Like it could have been more, but it wasn't? Or do you just think Destiny's overrated?
Alright, he's down.
Destiny messed up? Okay. So in your eyes, it's not that good? Battlefront 3, Star Wars. Hmm. That's a new one that I haven't heard about in a long time. I played Destiny 1 heavily and then took a break, then returned before 2. And 2 started out with a lot of content and I was done after that and haven't returned. They would, it would be badass. Yep, it would. Destiny 2 is overrated. To even have fun, you have to pay like $60 for a crappy expansion just for some new powers. Yeah, I tried getting into Destiny 2 multiplayer, like just to see what it plays like, and can't get a kill because the weapons that you get are just nothing. You have to like grind the shit out of the game for the good stuff. So I'm like, okay. Would you or ever have played Warframe? Warframe, no. I've played Warface, but not Warframe. My um one of my best friends played a lot of Warframe. I know that. I don't know if he still does or not, but he played a lot of Warframe.
Who's giving him all these kills?
I grinded to where no more joy was gone. Yeah.
Stupid coming back, and then who's giving him all these kills, man?
Yeah. The grind is part of it, but there's got to be more than that. You got to give people a reason to keep grinding. I think that's the problem.
Alright, I gotta get
I
a
think that's the problem. You have to give people a reason to grind. And unfortunately, just doing the same thing over and over and over again
five.
um isn't the necessarily the best solution.
Do we have a stinger class? Yes, we do. And just for shits and giggles, we're gonna go with this.
Got a question. What is the worst free to play game. Oh, ho, ho. Remnant 2 grind is awesome. Cool. The worst free to play game. Um, Shit, I haven't even played all of them, so I don't know which one to where to even start.
Choppers are easy to take down in this game.
The Barbie music hit different. um, the worst free to play game. The worst free to play game. Shit, man. All right, let's see. List of delete this.
Thankfully, Choppers
List
are easy to
of
take down.
free to play games. Let's see. Path of Exile, Apex Legends, Genshin Impact, RuneScape, Hearthstone, Warframe, Dota 2, Fortnite, Smite, more. Warzone, World of Tanks, Team Fortress 2, Planetside 2, Valorant, Star Wars: The Old Republic, EVE Online, Ice Age 2, Paladins, War Thunder, The Sims 4, Dauntless. Dude, I haven't even played all these games, and not let alone like I can't really say without playing them. So the answer to your question is I do not know. I haven't played that many free to play games. XDefiant is probably the game that I'm gonna be spending the most time playing, and it's free to play.
Oh, this guy again.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of free to play games. Ones I've played, again, I haven't played many of them, dude. Like, no. Like all these games, did you say best or worst?
Oh, this guy again.
Said worst. Um yeah, I've only played a handful of these at best.
Where? Really, dude?
So I can't say. I literally can't say. I've again, the majority of games that I've played, I've either paid for or have played them through Game Pass. So I do not know.
I can't
Remember
think
the
of any
Shadow of the
right now.
Hedgehog days? That games was badass. You know what? A lot of people, a lot of people say that that game was really underrated. Cold War is the closest we've gotten to Black Ops.
It
Yes,
cheats.
yeah, still far, but yes, it's the closest thing because Treyarch came in and had to kind of fill in because Raven Software and Sledgehammer Games couldn't get along, so Treyarch had to go in and finish the rest. And then after that, everything post launch was basically like, for the most
Come
part,
on, man.
um, you know, things that were in old games. Yeah, the score streak system
What?
sucked. Basically, everybody had support. So I know that that wasn't a Treyarch decision. There was no way that that was a
Oh my
Treyarch
god, this
decision.
guy cheats.
I think it was an Activision decision. No problem, Sarah. Not a problem. Best COD zombies? I do not. I don't play zombies, so I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I keep hearing Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. Like out of all the Call of Duties, I keep hearing Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 the most. So I
Where are these
don't
people
know.
shooting me from?
But I do hear that Cold War Zombies is underrated though. I have heard that.
What the
I've
fuck?
certainly heard that Cold War Zombies is very underrated. And now I have a question for you guys since you're here in the chat and you're at. I love it when you ask me stuff. By the way, it's one of my favorite things. I'm gonna ask you guys, what is the best zombies map? That is that is a question for zombies fans. What is your favorite zombies map? I love these custom zombies maps and the amount of time and creativity to make those custom maps always amazes me. Yes, yeah. The zombies team at Treyarch is incredible. Even the zombies team at Infinity Ward when they did Infinite Warfare, for their version of zombies, I think they actually did a pretty good job from everything that I've seen and heard. Firebase Z for Cold War. See, even in Cold War, there's something good to be said even about that game with its zombies. So let's see. No, I'm talking about the people on who make custom zombies maps for Black Ops 3 PC. Oh, okay, the people that mod. Yeah. Yeah, modders are incredible. Like modders that mod for a multitude of games are incredible. I mean, we were about to have modders make freaking a whole Call of Duty game in SM squared. So, and yes, those maps are incredible and the mods are incredible. Yeah, and I'm sure they are massive. Um, but on the 18th though, on the 18th of October, I mean, the acquisition is going to go through and we'll see what happens. Noah J456 making McDonald's zombies. No surprise there.
What?
No surprise there. Yeah, a lot of people are very very
Tell Mike.
talented.
That's all I want to know.
Very talented. You played the McDonald's zombies map? Yeah, I mean, well, that's why they mod it, man. That's why they make those mods so that way people can play them. So if you could go back in time and replay any Call of Duty when it came out during its era, what Call of Duty would that be?
How did he get behind me?
I'd rather play custom zombies than the actual zombies map. Some people, I'm pretty sure you're not the only one, Sean, because I think a lot of people specifically do that because they want the freedom to do whatever they want when they want and stuff like that. Sarah says Modern Warfare 2. Okay. Modern Warfare 2 really was a special time when Modern Warfare 2 released, it changed everything. Although I wish I knew about Call of Duty back during even the COD 4 days because I didn't. I wonder how it would have been if I actually knew about that, but I don't know. Some people might even say that Modern Warfare 2 is overrated. What do you think is the most overrated COD multiplayer map? Overrated? Terminal. That was an easy one, and I'm glad I was able to answer it. But Terminal. Simple as that. I don't, you know, I really don't have to. I really don't have to say anything else. Terminal.
Jensen is still alive.
uh,
And I'm on a 3 bar.
you were gonna say Rust? Yeah, but Rust is also like one of those small maps that people just love. So you know, but no, in terms of like it's a regular old map and shit like that. But Terminal's definitely overrated, and it always gets picked every single time it comes on rotation. If we were to see a Call of Duty collection map, a Call of Duty collection game, and Terminal, and let's say Raid comes up, I wouldn't be surprised if most people pick Terminal, which would piss me off, but it is what it is. Rust is the absolute worst according to Sarah. Okay, how about the most repetitive map? they make over and over and over again. Um, Out of the maps that we've seen, well, we've had raid numerous amount of times. We've had standoff, firing range. A firing range is good though. That's the thing. A firing range you can never get enough of. That's how good it is. But yeah, um, yeah, Nuketown is probably, yeah. Shipment is only for camos. Yeah, they got to give people something. I mean, can you imagine how crazy things would be if shipment wasn't in these newer Call of Duty titles? Like, can you imagine? It would have been like messed up.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we can see.
Like in this day and age, people that want to move around, all they play is shipment. Remember, maps are or remastered maps are a waste because it takes time away from making new ones.
What
Yep.
the fuck?
For those motherfuckers that just play with their headset on shipment while I'm trying to get 100
That's
kills
obviously a
prone.
hack right there.
These.
You guys saw that shit?
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show you, man. They've made like the newer Call of Duties are just a different game now. They're not arcade shooters anymore, which sucks because that's what Call of Duty was built off of. That's what the foundation of Call of Duty is. That's what Call of Duty is. It's an arcade shooter. What is wrong with being an arcade shooter? There's nothing wrong with being an arcade shooter. Like that's what we literally have to get through to these guys. It's like you guys. It's like they need to understand. It's like there's nothing wrong with being an arcade shooter. Why do you have to force yourself to be tactical when you're not, or when you don't have to be? You know, let Rainbow Six Siege be tactical. You know, that's a tactical shooter right there. Rainbow Six Siege, to my knowledge. Like Call of Duty isn't that. Let's see. COD would be so much better if it didn't have all the bundles. Um, let me tell you. Sure, but I don't think the bundles are what killed COD or what made things worse.
This map, I'm telling you.
It was very simple. When COD stopped being itself, that's when it died. Simple as that. Yeah, but again, it makes money. People buy this shit. People buy it. I mean, look at what some people are doing IRL on different platforms. I mean, there's we know now that people are literally going to buy other people's poop. That's the kind of world we live in today. Let's just be real here. So it's like, I'm sure somebody out there at Activision would have been like, "Wow, these girls can actually get away with stuff like that." So it's like, okay, let's do something similar with our game. Let's make these ridiculous bundles, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna overprice them and see if people buy them, despite the fact that they can't see them when they're playing in game. And lo and behold, people buy them, and they're making hand over fist money for it over it. So
I'm not that far off.
that's just the kind of world we live in, man. So, I will. Let's put it this way, okay? I have a lot of faith in the XDefiant developers because they've been nothing but transparent and honest with us, even when they didn't even have to be. Like, and even more so often, that I will literally buy the battle pass. I got no problem buying the battle pass, and I think it's gonna be the first time I've ever purchased the battle pass. You got to support these devs. I've got no problem. I've got no problem doing that. you know and as far as the only cosmetics that would seem right in order for it to work is like for weapons. You know, weapon cosmetics I understand, but in terms of character cosmetics, like you can't even see them, bro. The biggest disappointment was when they added new weapons that should have been in the game at launch and blah blah blah. The MP45 one. Yeah, but remember, um, that's just a part of it. I mean, COD just doesn't play like COD anymore, bro. COD stopped being itself. That's the biggest thing for me personally. Um, but at the same time, I think it all depends on how old you are as well. Because if you're around my age or maybe 10 years younger, then I would say that you came up at a time when Call of Duty was an arcade shooter. You know, it's kind of like for instance, guys, what is um let's say what is well, I mean it could work, but you know, um
So fucking lucky, dude.
I'm going to try to think of a different example here. What is Street Fighter? What is Mortal Kombat? What kind of game are what kinds of games are those? Fighting games. Very good. Okay. So, if those games were to never make fighting games again and then they would just become something completely different, I think that would piss a lot of fans off, don't you think? I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love Mortal Kombat to have a conquest mode. Um, I would absolutely love Mortal Kombat to have a conquest mode, but at the same time, Mortal Kombat still needs to continue being a fighting game. You can't ignore that. You know, you still got to continue to make fighting games. So we're going down that path, and they've ruined Power Rangers. Well, they made one Power Rangers fighting game. So if they continue to only make a fighting game, then I guess to a certain extent, yes. But Power Rangers was a different game, but they should make different versions of Power Rangers as well. What I'm trying to tell you is that they've replaced what it was in the first place. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's room for multiple different types of games within the same genre. Like for instance, Apex Legends, right? Um, Apex Legends was originally Titanfall. So, and then Titanfall turned into Apex Legends. So, but because Apex Legends is so financially successful, Titanfall games aren't made anymore. But there's room for Titanfall to exist as well. But they're just not making it because, well, they're already making a ton of money from Apex Legends. So they're not going to make Titanfall, even though it wouldn't really take anything away from Apex Legends other than the fact that it would take time to develop a new Titanfall game. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they can coexist.
Chickens, chickens. Rebar again.
Well, it depends on the point of view, Sean. You do have a solid point though.
The fuck?
You do have a solid point, but it depends on your point of view. So some people would say Call of Duty has become better since it has gotten down the path that it has, and some people would say it's worse. So the Fortnite made that happen because of its successful as a BR. Um, yeah, I mean, people love after 2010 was ruined. Quantum Ranger was the best Ranger of all time. Yeah, again, it depends on the time that you grew up. You know, if you grew up during my time, chances are the majority of people would probably think that Tommy, the green forward slash white ranger, was the best ranger. Um, or let's say the most popular ranger. But for me, I came up in a different era. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was the time that I was in my era. So we're talking, the OG stuff. So everything after that wasn't quite the same anymore. So red all the way. As in red, as in Jason, the original Red Ranger, or are we talking about Red Ranger later on, like when Tommy was a Red Ranger for a specific during like the Turbo days? OG Red, yeah, Jason's Red Ranger. That's another iconic Ranger. Shadow Rangers SPD. Don't know about that. I don't know all the Ranger stuff. I haven't watched Rangers in a long time because I really just didn't need to. Um, or not just need to, but I just wasn't into it anymore. And the Mighty Morphin days were my old days, so I
Now these
can't
guys
say
have
much else about that.
Nazis.
So again, going to your point, Sean, you do make a very good point because it depends on when you grew up, and so I guess you can say during my time when I grew up, Call of Duty was an arcade shooter, and now it's, I don't know, trying to be whatever it's trying to be. BR,
What?
BR / tactical shooter, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so that's the thing. Call of Duty is kind of like the OG players, like the ones that have been there from the start, will say that it's kind of lost its identity. And I don't know. I mean,
Look how
the
slowly
interesting thing is that there might
I should
be
have
other
known
shooters that might
I had no
change
money.
in the long run. I'm not sure. Like, can you imagine if Halo started playing differently all of a sudden and tried to be something else? They kind of already did that with Halo 4, and a lot of fans ended up being pissed off about that. Even though I wasn't one of the fans that was pissed off about it
I'm
because I
not
really
telling you one
liked the way
fucking
that game
player
played. I
has
mean, it
this
didn't do
fucking
everything right, but I really liked how it played. So the entire Power Rangers continually will be rebooted after Cosmic Fury this year. Really? Well, they run out of ideas sometime, I guess. Sometime at some point you run out of ideas. So what can you do? In Space was awesome. At some point in time, everything gets kind of rebooted to a certain degree. Man, this is amazing. We went from Call of Duty, XDefiant, Battle Royale, video games, and now we're talking about Power Rangers. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. Did you know that the Super Sentai Japanese Power Rangers was Blood and Guts? Wouldn't surprise me. If I don't respond anymore, it's because I fell asleep. Still got stream going. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. You're a total sweetheart. But yeah, I'm thinking about calling it a stream at this point. It's 3:45 at my time, and we've certainly gone a while. So it's been about an hour and a half since I turned the stream on. So, and then after that, we can kind of go from there. But yeah, that's I think that's all I got for this one. I think we've had a long discussion. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, you don't yeah, you really don't want accidents like that to happen. All right. So either tomorrow or the next day I will be on stream again, and then we can continue talking. We can definitely continue talking after that. So
Really? Wow.
anyway, you guys and ladies have a good
I love
night.
how
Get
you
some
like
rest.
duck.
Hope you guys have a really good and productive day tomorrow. And I'll see you on next stream. So you guys be good, okay? All right. Thank you for keeping me company on this wonderful night. And I look forward to talking with you guys some more. I'll see you guys later.